Alrighty, got that all boxed in. Kind of got a little ahead of myself and forgot to set up the camera and do a little time lapse of this. But this piece here, this is just a flat plate. I did cut it so it's the same height as the bottom of the barrel, because the way that I'm going to retain the gas fire, I need a lip to be right here. So this is all fully welded in. To get this barrel radius, all I did was take the piece that I had cut off and I sniped the sidewall off of it, and that should be the perfect template to get the radius that I needed. Trace that out on a piece of steel, slapped it in there, got her all welded up. Got this mint pile of 14 gauge. It was some type of dumpster cover, but guy said I could have it. So there's actually 3 layers of it there, which is perfect because now I need more of this material to build the heat exchanger mount that's going to hang off the side right there. And to do that, we're going to be matching the radius of the barrel. Instead of going in, now we're going to be coming out. So that means I can use either one of these pieces, because this has the radius of the barrel on it, and I'll be able to trace that radius onto this piece, and you'll see how I'm gonna work that out into a little standoff mount that slopes so that all the char slides back into the bottom barrel. Totally stealing this design from Jacob North. He pioneered this one, and I really like the way it works, so we're gonna do this. And then once this mount's all made up, then it's gonna have an access door on the side for cleaning out any char that gets trapped up underneath the heat exchanger if it piles up that far. Hopefully I never run it that long that I need to clean that much char out, but the option will be there. And it'll also give us easier access to put in the air inlet pipe. And then I'm gonna engineer the heat exchanger so that the body of it is removable. You guys will see all this come to when I get going here. So I'm going to start getting this traced out how I want it, and we'll start getting it mocked up onto the lower barrel. So I got a center mark in the middle of my patch plate down here, and I center marked along the side of the barrel all the way up, because I want my heat exchanger body to remain parallel with this cutout, so that these are sitting perpendicular to the frame. I don't want it sitting kittywampus. Doesn't float my boat. So I got a piece of scrap metal here, just tack welded to the drum, and I want this plate to land at 2 inches underneath of this surface. So I got this tacked on here, and its only purpose is going to be to hold up the plate. Nice piece of 14 gauge that we got. We got a center mark on it. Line up our center mark on the drum, right about there. Try and keep it pushed up tight. Now to keep it parallel with the drum opening, I don't care about it being level itself, because the table's not level, the drum's not level. All that matters is that it's in parallel. So I'm going to take my measurement off the top of the plate, 2.5 here, 2 3/8 here. So I'm going to get this perfectly parallel, because 1/8 of an inch in, how big did I make this thing? 18 inches could equate to, once the heat exchanger's on and the hopper's on, that's going to be close to 1/2 inch of tilt at the top. So I want to make these parallel as I can. So I'm going to spend the time to get this bar dialed in perfect, and then we're going to go ahead and weld across the top. We'll probably just get a couple stitch welds right now while I build the bottom box that our air intake crossover pipe will be inside of, that will hook onto the heat exchanger later. Now I'm going to spend some time tweaking this, get it just right, get this tacked on, and then we'll continue building the rest of the heat exchanger mount. Now we're starting to get the shape I'm going after. Obviously the barrel's laying on its side, but this ramp being that any char that gets caught up in here before it goes up into the heat exchanger will have every chance to fall and get back down into the lower barrel down in here. I did end up with just a little bit of the drum in between. I kind of wanted this to land right at this weld, but without a lot of messing around. I'm not going to bother with it. But you can see the general idea that all that char can just slip right back in the barrel. And there will be an access door right here so I can get in there and service that. Starting to take shape. Now I need to do some cardboard aided design and make some side panels. Okay, got her all boxed in, fully welded all the way around, all my corners, inside and out. About 5 gallons of water sitting inside. This is the second water test. I did have to go back through one spot. I got a little bit wide on my cut going around the rib of the drum right here, and my weld sucked in underneath and I didn't catch it. So yeah, I went back over that little spot, just ground the top off and filleted it back in. But it's all welded, it's holding water. So I'm gonna dump the water out and start working on this cover and what will be the clean out access door that will go right here. And once probably wait on the clean out door, do this hatch up here, box all that in, fully weld it. Then I can take the drum top off, which I do have to clamp down because I was welding up in this area and along the sides. Always clamp that barrel down if you're going to be doing any welding on it, because the barrel will try to distort, and we need that to be a good sealing surface right there for the fire tube when it drops in. So I got the lid clamped down, did all my welding, and I'll box this in, take the lid off, and fill the entire drum. Check every last weld over the entire thing, make sure we have no pinhole leaks anywhere on anything, and then we'll worry about cutting in that door. And there's the back end, all boxed in, fully welded. And if anybody's curious about replicating my garbage, this top plate from the center of the drum right here to the edge is 18 inches. It's also 18 inches wide. So this was an 18 by 18 plate with the barrel radius cut out. So there was, you know, extra past the 18 back in this corner. And then it was 13.5 inches tall this way, 5.5 this way, and the bottom plate ended up 19.5 to come flush with the top, which of course left this side 5.5 by 18 to build this plate. So all that's left now is to cut out the inside, and once the fire tube gets dropped in and the air inlet put onto it, bring our pipe out. Right here in the center of this circle is where the pipe will come up. The heat exchanger body will be here, heat exchanger inside, which I'll probably start working on tomorrow. So yeah, next thing I'm going to do is you can see where the weld is all the way around. I'm going to cut out probably an inch above and in and down, cut that window out. I'll fillet the corners and bend those tabs in so there's a nice smooth transition coming out of the barrel into the heat exchanger. Hopefully we won't have any char that hangs up on those edges. So yep, that's the next thing. Cut that open. Good, nice slope transition. Now I take the bottom edge, I'm going to fillet the corners, lay it down. I have to do a little work around the rib there. Fold these in. I'm not even going to worry about the top edge, it's fine the way it is. You know, never going to have charcoal flying flat across the top up here trying to get back into the lower barrel. It's really about down in this area having the char be able to slip easily back into the drum. That's a pretty nice transition right there. I think that'll do just fine. So I just did the bottom edge Gave it some little pie cuts so it was easier. Started everything out with a rubber mallet. Got it going in the right direction. And then a ball peen and massaged it back. Inside corners as well. I'm not going to worry about doing up here by the barrel rib. I don't think I'll ever have char up that high. If I do, that's a serious problem, because then the grate would be completely submerged in charcoal and it definitely wouldn't be able to do much breathing. So I think that's going to work for what I'm trying here. I could go the extra mile and weld all this down. I don't think it's going to be necessary, but that will also be dictated by doing the water test, which is the next thing I need to do before cutting a hole over there for the heat exchanger body, which I haven't gotten yet. I should go pick those up here today. So yeah, we're ready for the water test for the whole lower drum. Because the only other thing that will have to be sealed up is when I cut in the door over here, but that's going to be a gasketed surface, so we're not worried about that being a potential spot for a hot leak. If the gasket fails, then I got other problems, but shouldn't have any problems cutting it in and welding in a frame to put it in. But this should all be good, ready for the water test. So let's go get that done. Got our water test going here. We got one small pinhole right where I joined the two barrels, and this is a common spot I saw on my other barrel, right where this rolled lip of the bottom edge of the barrel comes up on the flat sheet metal. For some reason, that's a tough spot to get to seal up, but I'm going to cheat this time around, and when I drain the water out, I'm going to weld that corner from the inside. The only other pinhole I found right in the transition of that corner right there, which, like I said, that could be fixed by welding on the inside, but I'm just gonna puddle that in. So those are the little pinholes I've got. Because I have that lip that hangs down, I popped a hole in it high so that all the air that could get trapped in here was able to bubble out. So this is completely full. That passed the water test perfectly. So I'm gonna drain this out, get those 3 little leaks fixed up, retest, and then we'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully when we're putting the heat exchanger body on.